Good afternoon. Welcome back here to our food for thought sports betting picks. This is part two. We're gonna go into more depth for the later games, later afternoon and evening games for the NBA, the NFL games, the NHL, and some college basketball. So first off, we're gonna start off here with the National Basketball Association. We'll break down the games. And then at the same time, I'll give you my picks for what I'll be doing for these games. So the NBA, we have here Denver versus Dallas. This game starts at 3:10 in the afternoon, so in about an hour this game starts. So the line opened Denver -3, totals 228.5. We are now seeing 231. 230, let's see. Yes, we're seeing 231s on the board. They're starting to pop up, and we're seeing now 6.5. 6.5, 231. That's the consensus right now. All right, so that's what we're seeing right now for the NBA. Now in this game, for the Denver game, prop recommendations I would give out: Klay Thompson for plus 3-pointers. He drains 38% of his 8 attempts from long range per night. And he's landed nearly 3 triples per game across in his last 5 games. So he's gone over his number 3 out of the last 5. Now he's coming off a game where he went 0 for 4 from the 3-point line against Portland. And Denver does not defend the 3-point shot very well. So I like Klay Thompson here. 4 plus 3-pointers. That's one good prop to take for that game. In terms of props, I don't see anything else. That's the best way to go. Now, in terms of the game itself, we'll look at the matchup history. Head-to-head, 5-5. Head-to-head, 4-5 against the spread. 4-5-1 against the spread. Dallas last 10. 5-5 total. The over/under. They've already played 2 times. They've played twice in Denver. November 10th of last year. -2. Denver was favored. And the total was 233. That was the total at that time. Denver covered. It was a push, -2, and it went over the total. Second game, November 22nd in Denver. The line of that game was 4.5. Denver. Total was 229. Actually, Dallas covered this one, and they won the game, 123-120. So the third game now, it's 230.5. That's where we stand right now. 6.5 the total. So Denver, last 10 games against other opposition, 6-4. And 6-4 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Dallas last 10, 4-6. Last 10, 3-7 against the spread, 4-6 to the under. Dallas has won 2 straight games. Denver has won 2 straight as well. Let's see. I would lean to the over. This game is trending to the over, so I like the over. The total in this game, 230.5. I'll definitely take the over. And I would take Dallas. Dallas has done well against Denver. Dallas is at home. I would take Dallas to cover the spread as well. Yeah, I like Dallas to cover. I like Denver. Sorry, I like the over. Excuse me, over 230.5, and I like Dallas to cover the spread here. I like him at the 6.5. So it's 231 now. 231.5. That's what we're seeing. Let me see if I can find anything else. Any other tidbits I can find here for you? And I would look at I'm looking at something else here as well. I'll give you some tidbits here. Okay, this has been an over series. The first two games of this series have been over. Let's see what I can find here. I'm just looking at some first half stuff. See if there's any value for the first half. Just bear with me. First half overs, let's see. I would take 117.5 the first half over. I would look at the first half over as well. I do like I personally, I'm going to pick the full game. Full game, 231. 230.5, 231. I'm taking over. If you'd like to cut it in half, I wouldn't talk you off 117.5 first half over as well. But I'm playing the full game over. And I like Dallas to cover the points. 6.5 Dallas. I like that a lot. And I already gave a prop, Klay Thompson, 4+ 3-pointers. I expect him to have an impact on this game, especially at home. So that's my take on that game. We'll go to the next game here. Milwaukee at New York. The line opened up at New York -4, total 228. Right now, we're currently seeing... We saw some 227s and a halves, but we're mainly seeing 228. Still 228s, and it's at 4.5. New York. That's the line right now. So look into this matchup here. This game starts in an hour, 3 o'clock Eastern. Look at this matchup here, head-to-head, 7-3. In this game, 7-3. Milwaukee dominates, 6-3-1 in the last 10 against the spread, 5-5 even. They played once already, November 8th in New York. New York was a 6.5-point favorite, and they covered. They blasted the Knicks as they blasted Milwaukee 116-94. The total at that time was 223.5, and it went under the total, under 223.5. Right now, last 10, Milwaukee 6-4. Last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 4-6 to the under. Knicks the last 10. And Milwaukee's won 3 straight games. They've won 3 straight. Out of the 3 games, they've covered 2 games out of the 3. And we got the Knicks 6-4, 4-6 against the spread, 5-5 last 10. That's the over/under. If it wasn't playing the Raptors, the Knicks would be on a 4 or 5 game losing streak. So they're really struggling right now. I know the Raptors, they beat Toronto, but they did not lose to OKC the next game at home. They're on a homestand here. The homestand so far 1-2. 4.5 Milwaukee. Let's see. I'm going to look at the prop here. This is a prop play for me. I'm looking at a prop play. Prop play for me in this game, I like Jalen Brunson to have a big game here. Jalen Brunson, 23.5 points scored. Brunson's gone over this total 3 of his last 4 games. He gave 27 points in a loss to the Thunder in the last game. So I like Jalen Brunson here. I think he has a big game here. A lot is going to be put on his shoulders, especially the Knicks losing 3 of their last 4 games. I like this prop a lot. I wouldn't talk you off this prop here. Karl-Anthony Towns, points, rebounds, 37.5. He's averaging 28.4 points and 16.5 rebounds per game so far this month. And he's racked up over 37.5 points and rebounds in 6 of his last 7 contests. So again, I wouldn't talk you off of that either, but my favorite prop and my favorite play for this game is Jalen Brunson over 23.5 points. I like this prop a lot. If it's higher, if it's 24 or 25, I'd still play it. I like it a lot here. Especially with the Knicks in a funk, losing 3 of the last 4 games. I expect Brunson to ball out and have a good game here. In terms of the side and the spread, the side and the total, no comments on that. I just like I like that prop. No sides or totals on this game whatsoever. I just like that prop. Let's see if I see anything else. Yeah, that's it for that game. Next game I'm seeing here. Sacramento at Chicago. This game, the Sacramento game will be 3:40. It's going to be in an hour and a half, 3:40 in the afternoon. A lot of afternoon games in the NBA today. Line opens at 3, total 241.5. Sacramento favored. Sacramento Kings have been red hot. They've been. And let me give you the. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Let me give you the current line right now. It opened up at 3. Sacramento's 241, and right now the line is at 4. Consensus is 4. Sacramento by 4. That's the consensus. Total is 230. It's gone down a bit. 237 and a half. Let me see. Hold on. 236 and a half is the consensus. 236 and a half. Yes, 236 and a half is the consensus right now. So Sacramento, one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now. They're playing. Doug Christie has that team playing at a high level. Safe to say they're playing at a high level right now. So Sacramento's last 10 games, 6-4. Last 10, 5-5 against the spread. 5-5 over under. Kings have won 6 games in a row, including a win in Boston. That was a shocker. Beat the Celtics. That opened up a lot of eyes. He beat the Celtics. A big win. 6 games for the Sacramento Kings. Chicago Bulls. Last 10 games, 5-5, 5-5 against the spread, 2-8 to the under. Last 5, Bulls are 3-2 last 5 games. They were a home dog against San Antonio and beat San Antonio. So they've been a home dog once. At home. Had Milwaukee at home. So the Bulls are a very good home dog. Very good home dog, Chicago. Chicago, they've gone under the last 3 games. So Bulls playing a little defense. Sacramento, they're doing the same thing. They're playing defense as well. During the winning streak, they've gone 3-2 to the over, but the last game they played some defense against Boston, which is very impressive. They did play some D. This one here is 2. I know head-to-head, these two, they are 5-5 even. 4-5 to the 2. Head-to-head, 4-5-1 to the under. Sacramento does have the edge. But Sacramento has won in Chicago the last two times. They've beaten Chicago in Chicago. In this game, I take Sacramento on the money line. I like Sacramento on the money line. And as far as the total, Sacramento money line. And as far as the total, I'm going to go with I'll pass on the total. I'm not going to touch the total. I'll pass on that. No comments on the total. So what for this game? I like Sacramento to win the game. First half Chicago. Chicago first half plus 2.5. I'm definitely gonna bet that. Plus 2.5 Chicago. Sacramento money line. I like that a lot. So you can mark that. You can mark that down. In terms of props, no side on the total. No play on the total. Props. Nothing for the props. Let me see here. Yeah, nothing for the props. I don't have nothing for props here. Nothing that stands out for the props. Yeah, nothing standing out for the props. I don't see anything. Let me see here. I don't really see anything here. Yeah, nothing for the props for this game. Just the first half Chicago at plus 2.5, and Sacramento money line. I like that. I like those two. That's all for that game. Next game we're gonna look at Indiana Cleveland. So Indiana, Cleveland's -9. Total 235. Cleveland's still red. So Cleveland right now, the total we're looking at. So the consensus is 239.5. That's what we're getting right now. And it's still at -9. It hasn't really moved. It's still at -9. That's Cleveland, Indiana. Yeah, so it hasn't really moved. 239.5. So we're gonna look at the history of this game. Head-to-head 7-3 Cleveland, 5-4-1 against the spread last 10 games. Indiana 7-3 to the over. Indiana's last 10 games against other opposition, 7-3 last 10, 7-3 against the spread, 5-4-1 to the over. Indiana has won. They're on a winning streak themselves. They have won 5 games in a row. But these games, the 5 games, 2 of them have been on the road, and 3 they have won at home. And Indiana has gone under the last 3 games, so they're playing some defense. Indiana, basically playing defense. Cleveland, 10-0. They've won 10 straight games. 10-0 in their last 10. 7-3 against the spread, 8-2 to the over. So Cleveland. Cleveland at home. This game's 240. I'm just looking here to see what I can find. Cleveland. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to bet under 240. I would lean to, this is not my favorite play, but I lean 240. Under 240.5. I'm going to lean to the under in this game. Indiana's style of play, the way they're playing right now, they can influence Cleveland. I know Cleveland's on their home court, but I think, and since this is an afternoon game, a matinee game, that's another factor too. It's an afternoon game. Got to play earlier than expected. And Indiana's defense has been stellar in the last 3 games against the opposition. Those two things factored in, I can see this game being under the total, under 240.5. Because remember, Cleveland not used to playing this early in the afternoon. During the they're usually playing they're usually playing at night, not during the day. So that's a huge factor for me. So I lean to the under 240.5. In terms of the side, I would lean Indiana, and the I'll take the Pacers here. And the Pacers, I think Cleveland will win the game, but I think I would take Indiana to cover the points. It's 9 right now, and it's hardly moved. Especially the line's hardly moved. Hasn't really done anything. It's a 4 o'clock game. It's 9.5, 8.5. Yeah, it hasn't really done anything. I would take Indiana the points. I take Indiana. Indiana +9, and I like under 240. In terms of the I think Cleveland will win, but for the spread, I like Indiana to cover, and the under. In terms of the props, Darius Garland. I like Darius Garland. 21.5 points scored. This is a very good prop. He scored 40 points against the Raptors Thursday, so he's had 2 days of rest, so he'll be fresh and ready to go. And he's hit this target 6 of his last 9 outings. Garland's hit the 3 ball pretty well, and he's facing a Pacers team that gives up 115.5 points per game, which is the bottom of the league. And there are defensive holes for Indiana that Garland can take advantage of. So let's keep that in mind. I know I said Indiana's defense has been good. It's a kind of a bend, don't break defense, Indiana. We'll say that. A bend, don't break defense. I've said that. But for the player prop, I think Garland can take advantage of some holes and get some points. And take advantage of the coverage, the Indiana coverage, to hit this mark over 21.5. So I like that one a lot. Next game, OKC, Oklahoma City at Washington. Oklahoma City, 15.5 point favorites, total 229.5. The total right now, it's 16.5, 231.5. That's where it's at right now. OKC at Washington. 6 o'clock matchup. So we'll look at the head-to-head, 6-4. That's 6-4. Last 10, Oklahoma. 8-2 against the spread, OKC. 7-2 to the over. First meeting, December 23rd of last year in OKC. The spread was 17.5, total 226.5. And OKC covered and went over the total, 123-105. This one's 231. OKC last 10 games, 9-1, 8-2 against the spread, 5-4-1 to the over. Washington last 10 games. Let's go back. One moment. Washington last 10. Last 10 Washington. 2-8, 4-6 against this. 2-8 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 5-5 total. They won. Their losing streak ended in Cleveland, but they won in New York, covered it easily. Now they're in DC. 16.5 here. They should cover the spread if they're motivated and focused. They should cover the spread. I mean, I do have Philadelphia that they have to play the 76ers. So this could be a sandwich spot for OKC. They've already beaten Washington. They blasted Washington earlier this season. And they got Philadelphia next, another marquee game in Philly. So this can be a sandwich spot. I would lean Washington. I'm playing it based on the situation. It's a situational play for Washington, plus 16.5. Yeah, I would take Washington here to cover. Just because of that, I would take them. I like them here a lot. Nothing really much to say. I do like them here. Like this play. Situational spot, Washington. Yeah, I like this play a lot. For props, in terms of props, yeah, I don't see any prop plays here. Let me see. Yeah, no props for me in this game. I don't see anything. Just Washington situational play. Next game. New Orleans at Boston. Boston 14.5-point favorites. The total is 224.5. Right now we are seeing 15.5 across the board. Total 229.5. This is what we're seeing right now. That's the total. So for this game, this one here, let's see, bear with me for one moment. Another big spread. Head-to-head 7-3. Boston 4-6 last 10 games against the spread. 3-6-1 to the under. New Orleans last 10 3-7, 5-5 against the spread. 7-3 to the over. Boston 5-5 the last 10, 4-5 against the spread, 4-6 to the under. Boston's gone under 4 straight games, so they're playing defense. Last 4, they're playing some defense. 2-2 last 4 and playing a lot of D. Now they got the Pelicans coming into town. This one here, I would lean to the under 229.5. Boston's defense has been stellar. They're relying on that defense, and I think that continues this afternoon. 229.5. I like the under. And I would lean Boston minus 16. This is a bounce back game for Boston. Boston minus 16 to lay the points. I think they can cover. I think they'll bounce back nicely, cover the spread. First half, let me see if I see any value. Yeah, Boston minus 16. I would lay the points. I would definitely lay the points here. I think they're capable of beating up the Pelicans. In terms of props, I don't really see any props. No props here for me that I like. Let's see. Well, I'm going to double check. One prop that would stand out: C.J. McCollum, 18.5 points. He's the leading scorer for the Pelicans. He's averaging 22.7 points. That's his average. So, and plus the Pelicans have a lot of key injuries. So McCollum will be asked to do a lot to carry the team. And I like him to get over 18.5 points. I like that prop a lot. C.J. McCollum prop. Let me see if I see anything else. Let me see. Let's double checking. Let's see. Yeah, that's all I see. I don't see anything else. Don't see anything else for this game at all. Mm-mm. Don't see anything else. And nothing else for this game. That's it. Now going back to the Pelicans game, I said Washington in a sandwich spot to cover. Now you can also look, if you're looking at totals, you can look at a Thunder team total 123.5. So team total would be a good look. 123.5. Again, I think Washington will stay within this number because it's a situational spot. And I know their defense is pretty bad, but I still think at the same time, OKC can go over the team total 123.5. So I would definitely look at that. That's one play to look at for that game. Like I said, for the Boston game, Boston minus 16 to cover, and McCollum over 18.5 points. I like those a lot. Next game, Brooklyn at Utah. So Utah minus 3, line opened up at. Total 218.5. Right now, we're seeing 4.5 Utah. And the total being, so the majority of the books, they have we'll say 214.5. We'll say 214.5 minus 3. And the side is 4.5. 4.5, 214.5. We'll say that for this game. So that's Brooklyn at Utah. So we'll look into this game further, see what we can find. Look at the head-to-head matchup. Okay, so they're head-to-head 5-5, 4-6 against the spread. Utah. These are the last 10 games. 2-7-1 to the under in this game. First game, December 21st last month in Brooklyn. Brooklyn was a 1.5 point favorite at that time. Total was 219.5. Utah won 105.94. They covered, and it stayed under 219.5. Brooklyn 2-8 against the spread in general. 3-7 against the spread. Sorry, 2-8 Brooklyn in the last 10 against other opposition. 3-7 against the spread. 5-5 over under last 10. Utah 2-8 last 10, 8-2 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. So let's look at this one here again. So let's see what we can find here. Anything of value in this game. Anything of value in this game? Brooklyn's lost 4 games in a row. 4 straight games. They haven't been covering the spread at all. You see why Utah's favored. Yeah, I can see why they're favored. Utah has lost 3 straight games themselves. Now they're a favorite. The only way I can look in this game is to the under. I'll look at the under in this game. Under 214.5. That's the only play for this game. Under 214.5. Both teams are playing and trending to the under. The first matchup indicates that, and their style of play in the last 10 games indicates under. Now I'm seeing 215. I'm seeing 215 pop up. So if you can get the 214, grab it while you can for the under. If not, I'd still play it to 215. Even 215.5, I'll take the under. So definitely play the under in this game, 100%. Yeah, I'll definitely play this game's going on tonight. So I play the under. It's the only way to look in this game. Let's see. Now I'm going to look at the first half. Let me see if I see any value in this first half, because I like doing first half stuff. Yeah, just take the full game under. I'm doing the full game under for that tonight. 215 under. Even at 215.5 under. If you can get 214.5, take the 214.5. You can grab that too. Yep, I'm betting under. Under two. It's 215 right now. So get the under 215. But shop around. Make sure you shop around and get the best line, best number for this game. Next game is Charlotte at Phoenix. Phoenix opened up at -9. Total, sorry, -9.5. Excuse me, -9.5. Phoenix opened up. Total 224.5. Right now we are looking at 7.5 right now, current line, and we're looking at 225.5. 7.5, 225.5. That's the current number right now. Let's see. This is the last game on the NBA board. Oh, we have Philly Orlando. We have to get to that one. We didn't get to that one yet. One moment. Let me see something here. A lot of thoughts going through my mind with these games. Maybe I forgot to mention them to you. Just hold on. I think they might be coming. Let me see. Okay, so we're going to look at the Charlotte Phoenix. Get to that one. That one's a later game. That's at 9 o'clock Eastern tonight. The last 10 games head to head. 8-2 Phoenix last 10. 5-5 last 10 against the spread. 4-5-1 to the under last 10. Now they have played this year. They played January the 7th, so they played about a week ago. Played about a week ago. 5 days to a week ago they played. This game was in Charlotte. Charlotte is a 4.5 point, or Phoenix is a 4.5 point favorite. I remember I had bet this game too, and I took Phoenix at the time, and they surprisingly lost, 115-104. Probably one of Charlotte's biggest wins of the season, and the total at that time was 225.5. Now and it went under the total. This game went under. And it's still the same, still at the 225 mark, surprisingly. But the spread has changed. Now the spread's 7.5 Phoenix, I guess because of home court. Charlotte last 10, 1-9 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 2-8 to the under. Now Charlotte had lost, I think, 9 or 10 straight games, or 9 straight games. Yes, they lost 9 in a row. And then they beat Phoenix. That was the end of their losing streak against Phoenix. Well, they won that game. Now they got Phoenix in a rematch. It's a rematch again. Phoenix last 10, 4-6 last 10, 4-6 against the spread. 0-8 to the under. 0-8-2 to the under. So Phoenix is like an under team. They're playing some defense. Let's see here. This is interesting. Let's see. Let's see here. I'm going to take Phoenix to cover the spread, -7. I think right now this is a focus spot for Phoenix. Yeah, I'll take Phoenix minus. It's not one of my favorite plays, but I'll take Phoenix -7. This is a focus bounce back spot for Phoenix. They lost embarrassingly to this team a couple days ago. So I think Phoenix is ready to bounce back here. This is a bounce back spot. They have won 2 in a row. They're playing a little bit better now. And I would lean to the under 225 again. And I would take Phoenix to win the game, -7. Not one of my favorite plays, but that's what I would play. Props. I have no props for this game at all, none whatsoever. Just That's my leans and takes for that. But I'm not getting to the window with that. But if you wanted my advice, take either the under 225.5, or you can take the spread Phoenix -7. That's your choice, up to you. But I'm not playing that. Just some advice there. So that's it for the. Then we have Phoenix and Orlando. Yes, almost forgot about that. Phoenix Orlando. That's the other matchup. So Phoenix Orlando. So we open up here 2.5 Orlando favored. Philly, and it's 207. Total open up at 207 in Orlando. Right now, the 76ers are favored in this game. Philly is, let's see. Philly is favored in this game. Yes, Philly, the Sixers are the favorite. -1. We're seeing some pick'ems up. Mainly it's -1. Total 205. That's the consensus. 205 in this game. So this is an interesting game. Banchero is in the lineup, so that's the reason why. Orlando's still favored. Well, it's all over this flip-flop all over the place. Some was at -1, Philly's -1. But it's been flip-flopping all over the place. We'll just say we'll go with our original, or what we mentioned before, -1 Philly, 205.5. We'll go with that. Head-to-head last 10, 7-3 Philadelphia, 8-2 against the spread, 3-7 to the under. Last 10, they've played twice already. Both times in brotherly love in Philadelphia. And this is split. December 4th, Philly is -6. Philly was a 6-point favorite. The total was 209. And Philly lost at home to this team, 106-102. It was 6. They were 6-point favorites. Now, Banchero, they won this game without Banchero. Oh, Banchero did not play. Banchero did not play in this game. So that's a big factor. He didn't play. And now for the second game, Philly and Orlando. They played twice. And the second game went under as well. First game was under 209.5. Second game, 208.5. December 6th in Philly, 102.94. Philadelphia won. It went under 208.5. Orlando was favored by 3, and Philly won the game. I don't think Banchero played in that game. Let me just double check. He did not play in that game, and Philly won. So this is the third meeting right now. This series is even 1-1. Both teams have won. So they're playing again tonight. Philadelphia 6-4 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 7-3 to the over last 10 games. Philly flip-flopping wins and losses. This is a tight one here. Orlando last 10, 4-6, 4-6 against 4-6 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 2-8 to the under. I'm going to take Orlando to win this game. I'm going to go with Orlando. Orlando on the money line. I think they win this game. Banchero is going to be is a huge factor. And with him being in that lineup, I like Orlando here to win this game on the money line. I like the under. This is basically an under series. Especially the first two games. Actually, they played 3 times. 3 times. They've gone over. They played 3 times. So I forgot to mention that they played November 15th in Orlando. So this is the 4th and final meeting. And it went under 209 as well. Orlando won 98-86. Orlando was a 2.5-point favorite. I believe Banchero played in that game. Maybe double check this one. Let's double check this because I believe Banchero. No, Banchero did not play in this game. I thought he did not play. But I still like Orlando here. I think Orlando wins this game, and I like the under. I like the under a lot. So under 205.5. I like that a lot. So for props, let's see in this game here. Paolo Banchero, 25 plus points. I like this prop a lot. So he's the leader in scoring for Orlando. He'll have a big load for Sunday's game. So keep in mind he'll have a big load in this game because Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, and Maurice Wagner, they're not available for this game against Philadelphia. So Banchero will have the ball in his hands. He'll be doing a lot of the scoring and passing. So look for him to get a lot of shots off. And I like Orlando in this game to win. I like Orlando in this matchup. They gave Milwaukee a run for its money. So I expect him here. I expect him to win. I'll go with their Magic to win. Banchero and the over in points. And again, I like the under. I think the under continues in this game. Under 205.5. That's my place for the NBA. NHL. We'll get to the NHL games. NHL. Let's see. So we're going to start off first game for the hockey. Seattle at Detroit. This game opened up at 6. Over a total 6. Head-to-head 4-2 Seattle. And that's the last 10 and 4-0-2 to the over in this game. Seattle last 10 3-6-1. Last 10 7-3 to the over. Detroit 6-4. Last 10 7-2-1 to the over. I like the over in this matchup. Both teams are trending to the over in this matchup. So I do like the over here. Over 6.5. Over 6. I definitely take over 6. If you get at 5.5, take the 5.5. But I like the over in this game. In terms of the side, no opinion on the side at all. Just like the over 5.5, 6. Detroit, however, they've won 6 games in a row. They've won 6 straight. They've been playing well. Been playing very well, Detroit. And they've gone 4-1 to the over in the last 6, 5-1 to the over the last 6 games. So I like what they're doing on the offensive end of the ice. They've been playing very well. So I like the over in this game a lot. And head-to-head, they've gone over in this game. They've gone over. So, yeah, my best bet here is the over in this game. Over is 6. Seattle at Detroit. 5.5 is good, too. Next game, Tampa Bay at Pittsburgh. Total here is 6.5. Let's see. 6.5 is the total. Head-to-head, 7-3 Pittsburgh. 6-3-1 to the over. Tampa Bay 4-5-1 last 10, 2-7-1 to the under. Tampa Bay, I think that they've gone under 3 straight times. The last 4 games, the last 6 games have gone under. Well, it's head to games. Well, they played Pittsburgh already. It's been 3-2 Pittsburgh to the under. So they play in Pittsburgh November 19th. They play in Pittsburgh again. Penguins. Let's see here. Pittsburgh. Let's take a look. Last 10 for Pittsburgh, 6-4 to the over, 3-4-1-2 last 10 for wins and losses. This is 6.5. Let me take a look at this for a moment. Let's get a bird's eye view of this one here. Hmm. I'll lead to the under. Under 6.5 goals. Tampa Bay at Pittsburgh. Under 6.5. That's the way I would go in that game. Under 6.5 for me. Next game, Anaheim at Carolina. Total 6. Carolina favored. Head-to-head 6-4 Anaheim, 5-5 last 10. Anaheim against other opposition, 4-5-1 last 10. 3-6-1 to the under. Anaheim. Carolina 5-4-1 last 10, 6-4 to the over. Anaheim, they've lost 3 straight games, and they've gone 1-1-1 last 3 games on the losing streak. Anaheim's on the road. They're in Carolina. They're only averaging so far 2 goals on this road trip, and they have 3 other games on the road as well. Carolina's won 2 straight games. They're averaging 3.5 goals, over 3.5 goals. And they're the only way I can look in this game is Carolina team total over 3.5 goals. That's the only way I can look in this game. Yeah, that's the only way I can look. Carolina over 3.5 team total, or you can bet under 6.5 goals. If you can get under 6.5, bet the under, and you can take Carolina over 3.5 goals. Preferably for me, I would take under 6.5 goals in this game. Preferably. If you want, you can do both. You can do both over 3.5 for Carolina for goals, and you can do under 6.5. Because I don't see Anaheim scoring more than 2 goals. I can see them scoring 1 goal, and that's it. That's all I can see. That's all I can see from this. So you can do either one, or you can do both. That's my recommendation. Next game, Dallas at Ottawa. Totals 5.5 over under. Dallas is favored. Head-to-head 5-5, 4-5-1 to the under. Dallas against other opposition 8-1-1 last 10 games, 1-6-3 to the under. And Dallas has won 7 games in a row. Dallas has won 7 straight games. They've won 7. And let me just double check this again. 7 games in a row. Dallas has won 7 games in a row. 7 straight games for Dallas. They've been playing very well on the road. The last 3 they've won on the road. And during this streak, they've gone 3-1 and 3-1-3 to the under. This is the last 7 games. 3-1-3. No, 3-1-3 to the over, excuse me. So, and they've won 6 straight. Dallas is playing pretty well. And they do have, well, they're even against Ottawa. They played Ottawa at home the second day, January 2nd of this year. So that's the last week. And they won 4-2. It was a push. Really, won 4-2. Now, after this game, Dallas does have, they're in Toronto on Tuesday. So this might be a look ahead because they lost to Toronto already. So it might be a sandwich spot because they've beaten Ottawa already. So Ottawa, in general, 4-5-1 last 10 games, 1-7-2 to the under. Ottawa had lost 4 straight games, but then they beat Pittsburgh 5-0 yesterday. So they actually played yesterday. So did Dallas. Dallas played yesterday as well. So they fly back from Pittsburgh back home. Both teams played yesterday. I'm going to lean here. I'm gonna lean here to the oh man. Gonna lean to the under. It's not one of my favorite plays, but I will lean to the under in this game. I would take under. I don't have a. I would lean under and take Dallas because Dallas is on a hot streak. I would take Dallas here. Dallas money line. I'd take Dallas money line, and I lean to the under. That's my take on that. I'm not getting to the window on that game. So far, I like Seattle. Seattle to over 6. That's my favorite play so far. I like that. That's the one I like. Next one's Minnesota at Las Vegas. The total is 6. Vegas favorite at home, of course. Head-to-head 8-2. Last 10, 5-5 over under. They played a month ago in Minnesota. Minnesota won 3-2. The total was 5.5. And it went under 5.5. Right now the total's at 6.5. If you get the 5.5, try and shop around for 6.5. Try and get the 6.5 and get the under. That's what I would do in this game. Yeah, I definitely play the under. And shop around for that 6.5 and get the under. You're getting it. Or if you can get at 6, I'd still bet the under. Even at 6.5, bet under. I'd still take the under. Minnesota last 10, 7-3 last 10, 5-5 total. 7-3 Vegas last 10, 3-7 to the under. Vegas has lost 2 straight games at home. So the scoring is going down a little bit the last 2 games. Especially at home. The scoring is not that high at home. Minnesota, they're flip-flopping over-unders. But yes, I would lean to the under. Yeah, under in this game. Under 6.5 for that game. So if you get at 6, bet the under. 6.5, bet the under same way. I would take that. Now, we've done for the hockey. Hockey's finished for all the games. So now for the NFL. The NFL games for today. The late 2 games. Green Bay at Philadelphia.
Halftime.
Green Bay open 3.5, total 45.5. Right now, we're looking at 46, total 5.5. In this game here, I like the over 45, even 45.5. I like the over. I'll bet the over in this game, over 45.5, and I like 40. I like the over. I bet this game I got it at 4.5 early in the week. At 5.5, I don't think I would touch it. I would probably leave it alone at 5.5. Because it's late, unless you're gonna bet a live, make a live bet and find a better value. That's what you can do. But I like the over. I like the over in this game. I like the over a lot. I like the over. 45.5. Now, Philadelphia is a very good first half team. That's another thing I was going to tell you guys. Take Philadelphia in the first half at -2.5. Take Philly in the first half. They're a very good first half team. They're the best first half team in the NFL. Take them in the first half, -2.5. Take the Philadelphia Eagles. And take the under 23.5 in the first half as well. Bet the under 23.5 first half. So you got 2 bets. Under 23.5 first half, Philadelphia, Green Bay. First half, Philadelphia, 2.5, -2.5. Those are the 2 bets. I wouldn't take this, because now it's 5.5. I wouldn't touch it. Unless you want to go live and bet it live. Because right now, I wouldn't touch the 5.5. I leave that alone. First half. So if you can't bet it live, this is what you do. 2.5 Philadelphia first half. Under 23.5 first half, Philadelphia, Green Bay. As if you cannot, I would bet these games. I would bet these 2. Now, if you want to bet the full game, and you want to get if you want a better value, if you like Philadelphia, jump in live and get it live for a good number. If you like Green Bay, you can take Green Bay at the 5.5. That's what I would recommend for you to do if you like the Packers. I don't like the Packers. I like Philly. I got Philly in the first half. I got Philly, sorry, at 4.5 early on. And I took them in the first half, 2.5 already. I already bet that. 2.5 Philadelphia, first half. Under 23.5 first half for the spread. That's my play for that. Next game, we're going to Washington and Tampa Bay. Opening line is 3 Tampa Bay, total 50.5. Right now, we're looking at, I saw, it's been 3.5. I like the over 51.5. Over 51.5, I like that. If you got a 50.5, even better. And I like the over 51.5 for this game. I'm gonna lean. Let me see. The side I'm on the side. I'm kind of back and forth on the side. The side I'm a little bit back and forth. A little bit back and forth on the side here. A little bit back and forth on the side. I'm going to lean Washington. Washington +3. I'll take Washington +3. And Jaden Daniels over 53.5 rushing yards. I like that prop a lot. He's a rookie QB. I know Washington, they've been a little bit, he stumbled into the playoffs a little bit the last few weeks. They got right at the end, and it seems like they got a little bit right. But based on the number, I'm doing this based on the number, for what I'm seeing. It did go back to 2.5, now it's back to 3. I'm going to take Washington +3, and I like the over. I like the over more. 51.5 than the +3 Washington, to be honest with you. I like 51.5 more. That's what I bet. The lean is Washington, but I'm not touching this side. I'm going to take the 51.5 over the total. I like the over. Jaden Daniels for props, over 53.5 rushing yards. That's my prop. For the Eagles game, props, let me see if I can find anything here. I don't think I see anything. Let me see. A.J. Brown anytime touchdown is good. You can do an A.J. Brown anytime touchdown. That's a good prop. Saquon Barkley over 103 rushing yards is a good one. I like that one a lot. I'm actually going to play that. I think he's going to have a big game. I like that a lot. I like Josh Jacobs rushing attempts. That's a good one. Over 60.5 rushing attempts. Those are good props. I like those two. For the Washington game, Bucky Irving over 87.5 rushing yards. I like that one a lot. He's a feature back. Daniels, we talked about Jaden Daniels rushing yards. I like that one as well. Redskins game over. We talked about that. Bucky Irving's a good one. So Bucky Irving rushing yards over. It probably went up by now. Probably went up to 90.5. I'd still take it. Bucky Irving over 90.5 rushing yards. I'd still take it. And Jaden Daniels is now 53.5. I still take the over. So those are my favorite props. I like those. Now for college basketball, I promise I give a few college basketball games and picks. Yeah, it's just some. Let me see. I'm just checking out some games here that I'm leaning towards. That I'm gonna actually play. Just breathe me for a moment. I'm just looking here. See what I can find. I would take Little Rock. Little Rock 5.5 at home against Southern Indiana. I like Little Rock 5.5. So I'd take that. That's a very popular game. Little Rock. It's 4 p.m. Eastern. That's in an hour. Little Rock 5.5. Yeah, Little Rock 5.5. That's one game I would bet. Mercer, Western Carolina, over 153.5. I'd bet that. That's a good one. Yeah, I would take that. Those ones I would take. So again, for college basketball, Little Rock 5.5 against the spread that starts at 4:30 p.m. Western Carolina, Mercer at Western Carolina over 153.5. Yeah, I would take those two games. That's what I would take for the college basketball. I don't have anything else. Yeah, I would take those two games. That's it. I have nothing else. That's all I have. I'll have more college basketball tomorrow. That's all the plays I have. So that concludes our show for today. We've covered everything. Thank you for being with me. Stay blessed. Stay positive. Cash those tickets. Stay true to your heart. Stay positive. Stay humble. Peace.